Michelle, thank you very much for your courage. Thank you very much for your intervention. Before you go back to Poland, now I know you're back. On a very serious note, people like you who need to educate Nigerians the more. Because like you have said, and many of us here are opposed to ethnic profiling of criminals. I mean, just like I said, General Muhammadu Buhari is a Fulani, even a header. But it doesn't go, General Buhari doesn't go to Katsina looking for grazing route. I'm sure you have seen him in his farm, in his little ranch. So how can you in this age and time be talking of looking for grazing routes in the 21st century when you have alternative animal husbandry? And the best example in Africa is Botswana, a small country of 1.2 million people. You can Google. The cattle population there is 2.8 million. But that country has markets in every country in Europe for animal husbandry, to sell meat. So it's not rocket science to produce meat and distribute. So please, people like you must speak out more. Now, for me, we're in a very perilous time. And we're still talking of Onoche. By the way, she was rejected last year. I'm not sure you are aware. Yeah. She was to have been made a national commissioner. She was rejected. Now they want to make her a resident commissioner. She has just been rejected. But mind you, they will bring her back. Because they believe we are just a pack of fools. And that is why I must commend Nigeria for her rejection this time around. Don't get tired. When I got here before I knew of this development. My son sent me, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Now, he sent me one. You call him fast. He sent me a text about Onoche. And I said, congratulations. He said that, why are we congratulating ourselves? Are we not being insulted by these people? And what do we do? And this is my challenge to all of you. You have done very well. But please, let us be very careful. The policies of NGO can no longer help our country. You can't have non-governmental organization people out there. Why criminally minded people are in the parliament? What do you expect? Economic saboteurs and political buccaneers have taken over our country. And we are doing, and we say we are doing NGO work. No, it don't help any longer. You guys here, I mean, if you have a parliament, 6 of you in the National Assembly, the difference will be clear. And that is why after this program, and that will be to the delight of Professor Soyinka, that we can resolve here today, that we are going to make maximum intervention in the politics of our country. Yeah. And I can assure you, there is no cause for alarm. They only scare you, they won't win. That's right. Because their cause is wrong. Their cause is not just like your own. And the greatest tribute we can pay to Professor Wole Soyinka, who for the past 60 years have been in the forefront of the struggle of our country for change, is to rededicate ourselves to the struggle for the transformation of our country from a land of poverty to a land of prosperity. Those who are talking of was just like when you are talking of oil business. Nobody has time for oil again. It's knowledge economy, and I think Victoria made the point. When you are talking of countries that have no resources at all, and they are ahead of the world, why those of us who do not even know what to do with our wealth or our oil resources? You talk about people going to Abuja. Please, they now go to Abuja every month to share poverty. What you call how much? The whole money is about $30 billion a year now. In fact, we made only $15 billion last year from oil. The budget of Nigeria last year was $30 billion. The budget of Brazil was $650 billion. Brazil, 208 million people. Nigeria, 206 million people. Now for the media, I beg you, for the media, whoever says we are not going to demonstrate in Nigeria, please tell media you are here.
Yes.
Please, for me, it is the most agonizing thing. I mean, GT Okoye is here. Under the military, under the most monstrous military junta, Buhari, Babangida and Abacha, we were demonstrating in 2003, and this is painful because they didn't pay me. In 2003, General Obasanjo, the Obasanjo administration, disbanded a rally in Kano, attended by General Muhammadu Buhari, and the late Okadibo, Chuba Okadibo. Okadibo was asthmatic. 2 days after that rally, he killed the people because he inhaled poisonous tear gas. After that horrible experience, they came to me. I'm talking of General Buhari and others. Please, can you go to court for us? We have no money to pay. Because the police are saying they did not take police permit. How can you have a rally? We went to court. And in November 2006, we won the case. We had the court declare that police permit in Nigeria for rally is illegal and unconstitutional. The police appealed to the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal in December 2008 said that police permit is a relic of colonialism and that a free people do not need permit to enjoy their freedom. Based on those two judgments, we mobilized the National Assembly, a more serious National Assembly than this one. And they made a law in 2015, March 28, that if you are going to have a rally in Nigeria, all you need to do is to inform the police. The police will provide adequate security. Last year, Section 83, Subsection 4 of the Police Act of 2020 has repeated that provision by saying during protest, the police have a duty to protect you so that the so-called hoodlums created by them will not disrupt your house. You don't know that? Hoodlums are created by people. But these are young people, lumpen elements who have nothing doing. The government people use them during election. During election, they call them thugs. In peacetime, they call them area boys. During riot, they call them hoodlums. Please, for our women, I beg you, who have studied the colonial history of Nigeria, women, the Ransom Kuti that we just made mention partially, she was ahead of her male counterpart during the struggle. Single-handedly, she got a king, Alake of Egbala, Adimala the First, very powerful. She got her sent out of the throne because Alake colluded with the colonialists to impose double taxation in Egbala. The woman said, how can I pay tax and my husband will pay tax in the same home? And that was why they sent the man back. And I can go on and on, but please learn from what African countries are doing. Rwanda is ahead of the whole world in terms of women representation. 62% of the people holding positions in Rwanda are women. Rwanda now, South Africa and Ethiopia, cabinet is 50%, 50-50. 50% men, 50% women. So it's not about this stupid tokenism of 35% or something. But let me warn you. If you want to succeed, don't allow night meetings, nocturnal meetings of political parties must stop. You know why? It's difficult for women to leave their families in the night, to go and be holding meetings with other men. So that is why when it's about 4-5 a.m. after the meeting, the men will realize we have not elected any woman here. Okay, let's have a position of woman leader. Do you know how it's not a woman leader? comment on arresting Nigerians at night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some people are trying to say, oh, how can you say that? I didn't say you can't arrest at night. You can only arrest at night if criminal offenses are being committed. Yes, if armed robbers come to your neighborhood in night, you can call the police. But if I'm a criminal suspect, I am presumed innocent. I am entitled to my sleep. My family members are entitled to their sleep.
Yeah.
Hence, Section 2, subsection 10 of the Anti-Torture Act of 2017 has now regarded denial of sleep or rest as an act of torture, which is punishable under the law. So if you want to arrest me, you stay around until I wake up in the morning. Because we are civilized people. It is worse when you have no warrant of arrest. It is worst when you have no warrant to search my house. That was what we went through under the military. GT will recall. They will come to my house in the dead of the night. One day they came, arrested me. I was living in Ketu, took me away, arrested Dr. Kuti, Ransom Kuti, Beko, took him away. They dumped him on Badagry Road and dumped me on the road in the bush. So we found our way. When we came back to town and addressed the press, they said they didn't do it. They didn't know who did it to us. So on that day, my wife saw, you are not going to go out again at night. Because anybody could have killed you. Right. So what happened? They came again in the night, 3 a.m. And my wife, these people have come again. Won't I go with them? I said, no, you are not going to do. What are we going to do? Before I knew what was happening, my wife went out. It was still safe then. Went to the street. Criminals and robbers have come. And the big race. After that day, you know, they normally come to the office in broad daylight to arrest. And I'm advising Nigerians, don't go out with anybody at night, I beg you. If he says he's a security man, ask him to wait until daybreak. Because the danger now is, I know people have been kidnapped in their homes by criminals who pose as security people. In Ghana, in 1981, 4 judges, including a nursing mother, were kidnapped up in the night and killed 4 judges. President Rawlings never recovered from that shock. He denied, but nobody ever believed. So let the people in Abuja know we are not a conquered people. Right. Learn to respect us and learn to treat us with dignity. Now, just when I was here now, I got information that the bill to criminalize protest has been withdrawn by the sponsor. You know, again my son sent this to me and I said, oh, I didn't say congratulations this time. I said, the Yoruba say, if you are being pursued by a masquerade, keep on trying. Because just like you are getting tired, the masquerade is getting tired too. The letters for the media, please, and this is my final one. The letters for the media, they have just approved a budget of 4.8 billion to the security forces to monitor your telephone conversation, your WhatsApp, and whatever. So that when you are communicating with your friend or your political ally, and they say the message is dangerous, you are going to be arrested. And I'm saying, have no fear, we are going to come.
Yeah, good.
Because by virtue of section 37 of the Constitution, your right to telephone, your correspondence, telegraphic communication are protected by the Constitution. Therefore, we are going to challenge the violation. The money has been voted. We are not going to allow them to spend the money.
Yeah.
Finally, I want to beg you, the media, I beg you, and we must not be sentimental about it. you have to self-regulate. There's a lot of mess going on. And if you don't self-regulate, they are going to regulate you. I'm challenging the MPA, the NUJ, and the Guild of Editors to meet urgently and bring out some new code of conduct. Some of them just meant to blackmail. So that must be corrected. We must not wait for the government to do that. In the case of Twitter, my colleague has told you, by now they were going to be prosecuting Nigerians for trying to use Twitter through another means. But we have gone to court, and the court has given an injunction until the determination of this case. Thou shalt not punish any Nigerian. And by the way, there is no law in Nigeria that allows the government to punish anybody who defies an illegal suspension. There is no provision in our country, in our law, to punish somebody for an offense that is not prescribed by law. And that is what they wanted to do. Let me round up by saying, please, it is Kanu today, it is Boho today, it may be your turn tomorrow. We may not like them, and some of us are critical of these gentlemen, but there are certain irreducible minimum standards in our country. So we must not allow the Buhari regime to take us back to 1984. And many of you are very young then. An attempt was made to kidnap a politician in London. He had already been kidnapped. He was being taken to the airport when a lady in her flag saw the strange and primitive treatment of a human being and cried to the security. And that was why that was stopped, Umaru Diko. So you can't go back to Umaru Diko in 2021 under the law, and Kenya cannot admit this. That's why Kenya is in trouble. Kenya cannot admit that in our soil a Nigerian was taken out of our country without going through the law. If you want to remove a criminal suspect in any country, you must go to court. We call it extradition. He was filed. Why you want him taken out? He will get his own lawyer to say why I should not be taken out. It is after the court has said this man has done bail in his country, he should go back to that country to be tried, that you can bring him here legitimately. But to abduct a citizen of Nigeria and put tranquilizer on him or send him to sleep is against the Anti-Torture Act of Nigeria. It's against Section 35 of the Constitution, right to liberty. It's also against right to fear. Through some international security, no, there's nothing like that. Interpol does not. Interpol, and I challenge the government, Interpol does not abduct and deport anybody. Interpol will serve what you call red alert. That red alert allows a criminal suspect to be arrested pending extradition and not pending abduction. Therefore, let these guys know we're civilized people. You can't go to a citizen's house who is pretty innocent and you say we are raided. Please, you can look at the meaning of raid in your phone. Raid means to launch an attack on an enemy camp. A citizen cannot be an enemy when he has not even been tried. So you can't go to a citizen's house in the night and come out to say we killed 2 people, as if you are talking of 2 votes. Because under the law, anybody who is killed, there must be a corona symbol. In the case of the 14-year-old trainer, by the way, why should a 14-year-old girl be a trainer in the modern society? But because a 14-year-old girl, your daughter and mine, on that Saturday morning may be watching a television, or on the beach, enjoying herself. But she was trading, and where she was selling either pure water or whatever, she was fatally wounded and she died. What we have done in our office is to instigate and we've got the chief judge, the chief coroner in Lagos State, to set up an inquest. And we are going to investigate. The police said we didn't do it. Okay, we know you didn't do it. Who did it? We are going to that guy, we are going to get him identified and prosecuted under the law. And that is the position. So once again, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And to urge you to go out there, register to vote,